Melissa Davalos, and she is, her first official day is Monday, but she's been shadowing Yvonne, and she didn't run off, so I'm so grateful. And we're excited to have her with us. And Genesis is our summer intern who's with Mary Hardin Baylor, University of Mary Hardin Baylor. She'll be with us for 12 weeks. So everyone in this room is probably going to get a call to do, I need to give you time to acknowledge her, but he's going to get a call. We do a spotlight. We used to call it a member spotlight, but we really feel like in this community there's so many things going on. It shouldn't be limited only to the members. So a spotlight of the things going on in your organizations, and in your business. We would love to showcase that because people that receive our newsletter, hope you'll sign up for it. About 1,200 people that are signed up, and it's got about a 33% click-through rate, so it's really been a lot of activity. So we'd love to promote what you're doing. Thank you for being here. I hope I didn't talk too long. And Stan Mason, a retired officer, is going to speak to us, and the floor is yours, sir. Thanks for being here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not shy. That's first off. Okay, my name is Stan Mason. That's my wife, Michelle. I grew up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I served 11 years, 5 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days in the Air Force. I lived in Korea, Japan, Desert Storm veteran. Got out in 1993, and I came to Waco, Texas. How did I get to Waco, Texas? From Pennsylvania. In 1969, I was 7 years old. My mother grew up here. And we were coming here to visit, and we grew up lower middle class. So we weren't flying. We were on Greyhound. So I was excited to come here. You know, I'm 7 or 8 years old, and everybody in Texas has a horse. You all have boots, and, you know, everybody's got a gun and handy open. And that's what, you know, I'm up here in Pennsylvania, that's what I'm thinking. So I got here. I can't really remember some of the places I went, but I know y'all streets were pretty jacked up back then. Stayed that way for a while. But anyway, I had a great time here. Had a great time. So we stayed about a month, and we were getting ready to leave. And you'll hear me say words like white and black because let's go on and be real. And when people say, well, I don't see color, well, I wish you do because, you know, I do. You know, if you ignore color, you're ignoring me. So I get here, we're at the old Greyhound bus station downtown. Y'all remember that old bus station down there? And 2 Waco officers came in. And it was just the coolest thing. They had the guns with the bullets. They went all the way around. And I remember I was supposed to get some cowboy boots. And my uncle was going to buy me a pair of cowboy boots. I didn't get them, and I was sad. And he showed up at the last minute, but I'm looking at these 2 officers. And they took time and talked to me and kind of bent down on the knee and let me touch the bullets and all that stuff. So I told my mom, I'm going to be a Waco cop. I'm going to be a Waco cop. So I go back to Pennsylvania, and I had a run-in in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The 2 officers up there. And I think I was about 12, 13 years old. Me and a friend were coming across the park. And I guess a lady had her purse snatched or something a few blocks away. Here come these 2 young black guys. Good enough. I didn't know anything. They picked us up, put us in the car. It took us over to where this white lady was. And up there, I didn't have a sense of white or black. People were just people. And I remember that lady saying, that's not the 2. Not them. Did those cops take us back to our parents and say, hey, we stopped your kids? No. They said, y'all can go. I hated police. I didn't want anything to do with the police. I was angry at the police. I'm tired of being profiled by the police and picked on by the police. So I went to the Air Force and ironically did law enforcement. And I love the concept and principle of law enforcement and how it should be, but I don't like the way it is. So I had 2 choices. I could bicker and complain about it, or I could go in and change it. So I came back from Desert Storm back to Japan. That's where I got to Desert Storm from. And at that time, my other wife, my first wife, I said, I'm getting out, and I'm going to go to Waco and be a cop. She said, you can't get out. We don't have no money saved. If any of you been in the military, you know. You don't have any money saved. About a week later, the Air Force sent me a letter. They said, we'll give you 30, we got too many people in your job, we'll give you 30,000 to get out right now. Or if you turn that down, we're gonna come back, we may come back and say, you gotta get out, we're only gonna give you 15. Well, I'm taking the 30. So I get out, load up, 2 Rottweilers, my daughter, my wife at the time, in a little Subaru, and it was right in that car, trust me. And we drove all the way to Waco, Texas, one stop in West Virginia. And I could not wait to get out of West Virginia. I could not wait to get out. But we got here. So I arrived finally, well, I kept getting lost. And I saw all these little towns y'all have here, Daisy, Texas, Fishel, Texas. And so everybody kept telling me to go down to yonder. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not seeing the sign for this town. So somebody finally told me that meant down there. We pulled into Waco about 4 in the morning. And I turned off of Waco Drive. I bought a little raggedy house over on 6th Street, 1911 North 6th Street. And I pulled in, and I passed Parkside Villages, 16 Carport. We're talking 1993. Those of you who were not in Waco in the 90s, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But I looked at these apartments, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. I mean, the sprinklers were on, nobody was out, there was no trash. I drove back by there at noon, and I was like, oh my God. My kids grew up listening to gunshots, not birds, gunshots, police chases. So I get here, get settled, went to the Waco Police Department. I'm coming down here, I'm on a job. We're not hiring, we got a hire freeze on. Before that, I went to the McLean County Sheriff's Department, and I walked in and filled out my application, had an appointment set up for an interview. I walk into my interview, tie, scraping money together, and at this time I was working as a security guard, and I drove 4 days a week from Waco, Texas, to a Motel 6 in Fort Worth on Oakland Street. Walked around 12 hours and drove all the way back here. 4 days a week. Because I would not take unemployment. Because I'm able to work, I wanted to work. So I went to my sheriff's department interview, and I've already had this mixed taste with policing. I like what it's supposed to do, but I don't like what I'm seeing. I walk in, the sheriff, back in the 90s, I'm not going to call any names, y'all can research it. I walk in, I never saw his face. Newspaper was in front of his face, his boots were crossed across his desk. He said, we ain't hired. That was the extent of my interview. So I walked out and left. There were 2 white officers from Waco who come by my house every day while I was fixing it and say, you keep going, you'll be a good officer, you'll be a good officer. Apply, hang in there, we're gonna be hiring. Now, I believe that you gotta have hard conversations. Everybody today is in their little comfort zone. That's why nothing gets fixed. I'm not interested in folks' feelings getting hurt or whatever. Until we have the hard conversations, we'll never fix the hard problems. There are a lot of black people in Waco. All they told me was why the police department wasn't going to hire me. You're a Yankee. They don't hire black people. That's what I heard. There was a drug dealer that lived across the street from me. Watched me going to and from that process. He said, you're going to be a good officer. Drug dealer. So the big day comes to take the test. And they were hiring, I came in on the criminal crime bill, they were hiring 20, I believe it was 21 officers. One of the biggest classes they ever had. So I worked in Fort Worth that night. I came home, I'm tired. I gotta go take the civil service exam. I have to do the obstacle course, do all this stuff. So I get down there to the Farrell Center, and there's 756 people in line. And I'm looking at these guys, the officers, other places, they had their uniforms on, and some people had suits and ties, and there I was, t-shirt and sweatpants. I didn't hear those 2 officers in Waco that said I could make it, or the drug dealer. But all these black people that told me I won't make it, Washington Department wouldn't hire me, because I tended to go to what am I used to and what do I live around. So I actually got in my car and left. And I was thinking of a lie, because I had never quit anything. So how am I going to go home and say, I didn't even take the test, I gave up? And I was on University Parks now. Yeah, University Parks, right along the convention center near the suspension bridge, where all those little iron horses or cattle are. And his voice said, I brought you this far and you're going to quit. I turned around and drove all the way back. Stood in line for about 35 minutes. I got in, I sat down, and it was just rows of tables just like these with those little fill-in the circle tests. And I was tired, and I remember when they said start, I can remember in my head everybody breaking that little seal, and it sounded like thunder, just in my head, it was so loud. And I said, God, I need you to take this test. I can't do it. I need you to take this test for me. 25 minutes after they said start, I was finished. I walked out. 25 minutes. To this day, I can't tell you one question that was on that test. So we come back in, and they're calling out. They said, we're going to take the top 100 people and start them in the process. And then everybody else will call you if we need you. So I was like number 39 or 40, somewhere in there. So everybody else leaves, and they got 100 of us sitting in there. They said, okay, we're going to take the first 50, and we're going to call you off in order of how you scored. I was the first name they called. 99% on that test. But that's not me, because I didn't take it. Went to the obstacle course, had the best time. Everything that I did, I kept coming out on top. So I get out on the street, get through the academy, I get out on the street, I'm right there. Every time something happened, I'm locking up drug dealers, I'm catching robbers, everything just kept happening. But I'm living on North 6th Street, right in the middle of Crime Central. So all the people in the neighborhood, even the criminals, respected the fact that I'm there with them. They understand, and this is what I want people to understand about what we call that criminal element. Believe it or not, there is a code in there of respect. And it's, you oftentimes hear it called the game. Between the cops and the criminals, there's a common understanding there. It's their job not to play fair, it's our job to play fair but try to catch them. They understand that. So I go through all this stuff. My first year, my sergeant, Al Kirk, put me up as Rookie of the Year. And that was the first time a minority had ever won Rookie of the Year in the history of that department. So I'm having this stellar career. I never wanted to be a sergeant. I never wanted to be a commander. I never wanted to be a chief. I liked being right there at the problems. And I worked midnights my entire time. So in 1996, was it, we started neighborhood services? I became a neighborhood police officer. And the way that was designed is we went into geographic areas and we worked that area, which was a huge area. And we worked all the problems, from neighborhood meetings to, we had to develop a plan for attacking all these different problems and so on and so forth. And it's very time consuming, but I loved it. I loved working community policing. You all hear that term all the time, community policing. I loved it. I was there. I dug out ditches, I painted churches, painted houses. Waco was the most undesirable place to live in the 90s. You could not give your house away in Waco, Texas. If you think I'm lying, ask somebody who lived here. You couldn't give it away. In 1995, or 4 or 5, we were per capita the most violent city in the United States because of the crack cocaine wars. I think that a lot of these conditions, and I'm not talking about Waco now, I'm talking about cities. We have a demographic of people who I call the least. These people don't have anything that a lot of us like to read about. We sit at home and read about their condition. Well, it's okay, I prayed for them in church. We have preachers across this country that are praying God to these places they won't get out of the suburbs and go to. We have politicians who are legislating Republican or Democrat, I really don't care, because the fact is, poor people are faring no better under either one of them. Because nobody's speaking for them, that least, that voice. Yes, it stinks. Yes, you're not popular. Oh, people are gonna talk about you. People talk about me whether I'm coming or going. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care what privileged people or wealthy people think of me, or the police. Because when you get that person that has nothing, that single mother has nothing, that says, you made a difference in my son's life, my daughter's life. When people have nothing and give that to you, that means more than all the people with titles. Waco has come a long way. It has a long way to go. We undervalue ourselves. We do not market ourselves, to me, my opinion, to our fullest potential. Our biggest resource is not Magnolia. It is not Baylor University. It is the people. Waco does not have race wars that all these other cities are fighting over. When I say Waco, I mean Robinson, I mean Lorena, I mean Woodway, I mean Hewitt. We don't have that problem that other cities wish they could get by in order to get two problems. We don't have gang problems here. Other cities are fighting with that. Look at Chicago. You know, we have so much going for us that we don't market. The biggest untapped resource in this city are its people. You don't see black and white folks here fighting. You don't see the anti-police sentiment here. We are sitting in an ideal place, but we do not market ourselves. We should be telling Killeen right now, which is Killeen is Waco 1994. Why don't we have a delegation going to Killeen to say, maybe we can help you. We had this problem. This is what we did. This is how we fixed it. We're giving back. That is our sister city. You can't say, well, we're fine over here. We got it all going on, because when the bubble bursts, then what? All good things come to an end. We have to look out for the least in our communities. The least. Those are the people, I say things that make people angry, and I don't care. It's hard for me to be broken up about how people who have food and have a nice house and have 2 cars, how they feel when I'm dealing with people who haven't. You know, people in East Waco had a party for me when I retired. And there were 3 little girls that I remember when I say little, I mean little. And I used to work a part-time job at the skating rink. And it was on weekends. I had weekends off, and even when I had to work, I would stay there. And, you know, it wasn't great money, but these kids had some place to come where they were safe. So I got to know all these kids for probably 10 years I worked up there. And we're at the party last month, and the little girls come in and they said, we got something for you. And I said, oh, okay. So in the middle of all of the music, they stopped the music, but one girl came up and got on the microphone. And she said, you know, when we were little, we liked to go skating. And my mom didn't always have money. But Officer Mason made sure we got in. My mom couldn't come back and pick us up. But Officer Mason always made sure we got home. He's always been there, and he always took care of us from the time we were little. She said, I'm 35 years old today, and he's still that way. And one little girl, the littlest one, is an artist, and she painted a mural of me that's probably about that big. That means more to me than anybody giving you a card, this proclamation. That stuff is nothing. It's paper. It's parchment that hangs on the wall, gets brittle, and goes away. When you die, when I left the Waco Police Department, that place is open for business. I may be a badge on the wall in a hallway that you all can't see. I may not be. It doesn't really matter to me. When I go in that grave, nobody's going to come out and visit me 2-3 years later. That's life. But if I do something that changes your life, and you teach that to your son, who teaches it to his grandson, I never died. We forgot how to give. Your position, your title, your bank account mean nothing. If you don't believe me, get sick. We're putting all of our stock in politicians. I don't care Republican or Democrat. I really don't care. We want to legislate our way out of responsibility for helping the least. We want to pray our way out of responsibility for helping the least, but we don't want to go and help the least because somebody may see me there. I'm going to tell y'all this story and then I'm going to sit down. Probably about 10 years ago, there was a kid named Candy Richardson. And Trey was a little penny ante drug dealer over in East Waco. But I've known these kids, I call them kids since they were little. And they grow up and they get in that game. Remember I told you there's rules. It's like a different world out there when you're working those streets. Yes, I know you're bad and you're bad and you're bad, but you're bad and you're violent. So you kind of, you're always prioritizing and you're going after, you're going after whichever one. You're not really doing it. When I went into my area, just throwing out gang signs. When I went into my area in the community, everybody, I didn't care, black, white, rich, poor, drug dealer, prostitute, I didn't care. Everybody was the same to me. My motto is there's only 3 types of people in this world. Everybody in this room is one of them. Some people might be 2. It's those that have been caught, those that are caught up, and those that haven't been caught yet. Nobody yet can point a finger. My rules were, when I come to work, you no longer live in the city of Waco. You live in Masonville. Don't run from me. Don't lie to me. Don't mess with any kids. Don't mess with old people. And don't mess with the church. That was my 6 rules. Every thug and hoodlum and gang member and drug dealer, they knew it. They knew my, and they respected that. They knew I'm not going to search them without a reason. I played this game fair till I left. When I walked out of that police department, I had nothing to look back. I wish I would have done this. I sleep good at night because I played the game fair. It's not my job to save the world. And I think in policing, I don't know how many of you have heard my radio show or tuned in. Boy, he's abrasive. Yes, I am. He uses some bad language. I do. But I got a curse jar. And every time I use a bad word, and I mean, there's certain words we don't use on it, I put $1 in that jar. And I give it to either a charity or somebody who needs it. But the reason I talk hard about these issues is because when people call my show, they're not PhD people. They're not politicians or preachers. These are people who, the thing I'm talking about, they are the expert. They're not going to quote me a study. They're not going to say what they read in a book. They're going to tell you what they lived through last night. They're going to tell you this is what it's like to be homeless and hungry. This is what it's like to be an illegal alien trying to just make it to work and not get caught. It's one thing when we read about this stuff, and we all say it doesn't impact me, it's got nothing to do with me. Where's the empathy? It can be you. That Bible that so many people read has 2 words in it that we ignore the most. The least. We pick and choose who we want to invite to church. We pick and choose who should be saved and who shouldn't be. We pick and choose who will help. We pick and choose how much we'll give them. Money means nothing. All of us in this room, you have an idea of how much money you have right now. And if somebody says, give me this, your brain will automatically calculate. If you give that, you got this left. But poor people and homeless people don't have any money, but they give you their time. And none of us in this room knows the balance of time. They may give you all they have. So anyway, back to Trey, and I'll sit down. I came to work one day, they said, you came in and got shot. So I took some time off. I told my sergeant, I said, hey, I need to take a few hours off and go up to the hospital. Now, so came in, his dad didn't have anything to do with it. Him and his brother, they were just kind of out there. But I could always go to the house, come here, boy, sit down out here. You act, how are you acting? Why are you doing this, doing that? And they always respected me. So when I went up there to see him, he could talk. And as soon as I walked in, he said, I knew you would come. And then the next thing he said, I didn't do nothing wrong. Which he didn't. There was a bullet that was meant for his brother. And by then, he had cleaned his life up. He might have smoked weed or something, but he wasn't selling drugs. And he stepped in front of that bullet. So I stayed with him probably about an hour. His family was up there. I said, well, I got to go to work. I'll come back and talk to you. So he said, okay. So I went back to work, and about 4 in the morning, his sister called. And she said, can you get up to the hospital? He wants to turn the machines on. So I said, okay. So I came up, and he had a tube. He couldn't talk, but he could nod. We talk about cops are heroes. We have idols. Oh, this person started from nothing and went to the NFL, and look at what they did with their life. This boy sold drugs. It changed his life. So I asked him, I said, Trey, you want them to turn the machines on? He nodded. I said, you know what's going to happen when they turn those machines on? He nodded. And he kept moving, and I didn't know what he wanted. And I said, you want me to stay with you? And I did. That's why I'm hard. I'm not abrasive, I'm realistic. There are people in this country suffering. And we're fighting over political points, religious points, black and white points, economic points, and we're missing the point. People count. Stop throwing people away. Stop putting people off till later. Because any of us in this room can be homeless. Anybody. No one in this room is safe. If bombs start falling, if tornadoes come, they're not coming for white people or black people or rich people or this zip code. They're coming everywhere. Let's start investing in each other. And as your city grows, you remember the least. Don't let your city lose its identity. As a 57-year-old black man here in Waco, Texas, I will tell you, there is no place in this town for me to buy clothes. Unless I want to look like a thug, a pimp, or a cowboy. There is no place. I have to go to Austin or Dallas to buy decent, conservative, nice-fitting clothes. No place. There's no black nightclubs here. There's no large black restaurants here. It's not anybody picking on anybody. Nobody designed it to be that way. But we're all in our bubble. And nobody ever stopped to say, wow. And then when you look at the demographics of things, you say, do I really fit? What is the plan? Am I included in that plan? Because I don't see it. I don't see restaurants owned by people who look like me where I can go in and sit down with people that look like me. I don't see clothes that fit what I would like. That's not anybody's fault. White people didn't design this. It's when we get comfortable and in our bubbles and things take root and people with power and privilege who make decisions that don't live here, they're investors. We end up looking at our city and going, what happened? Where did everybody go? The loneliest thing in the world is to walk in the room and nobody looks like you. Or walk in the city and nobody looks like you. We don't have that problem as far as getting along here. But people have got to get involved in these chambers. You've got to come in and have a voice. You've got to come in and participate and work together because you can't sit back later and go, well, they didn't do this, but where were you? Oh, the school's not teaching this. Why weren't you at the school board meeting? The city did this. You weren't at the city council meeting. We've got to get people involved. Waco is headed to do big things. This city will be on par with Westlake and Austin, I think, in 20 years. If you can afford to live. But the city has grown. And like I said, if you were here in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. Let's embrace the things that we have that are great. We don't have the racial fighting. We don't have the gangs. We don't have the anti-police sentiment. Those are key. Dallas is struggling. Fort Worth is struggling. Baytown, Texas, Houston is, they're lucky they don't have riots down there right now. We don't have that. That's what we need to do. And with that, I'm going to close. I didn't mean to go on and on and on. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thoroughly enjoyed it. First meeting, but thoroughly impressed. Linda, are you gonna? It's like 10 till, so I know that some of you need to get back, but if it's okay with you, I'd love to go around the room and talk to each, or have each of you talk about what's going on in your organization, if there is something that you'd like to talk about. And it's okay to start over here. Here. Introduce yourself and tell what's.
Louis
like your police
Almaguer.
officer.
In Waco, I'm Louis Almaguer. In reality, I'm Luis Almaguer. Instead, people in Waco can't pronounce it. But I've been with the Waco Department Waco Police Department for 30 years. I worked with Mason in the 90s. We were part of the neighborhood services section, which we worked a lot with the neighborhoods. Got to know Mason real well. You can tell you about, everybody had their glory walls at our building, and that meant you put all your certificates and everything on there because the competition they did for a while. That's what we found out. It doesn't matter how many flags you got up there, it's what you're doing every day that makes a difference. I'm proud to work with the city of Waco, with Waco PD, because we have made some big inroads with the community. Kind of like Mason, I came from an area of the country where everybody looked like me. I'm from Eagle Pass, Texas, on the border. So 95% Hispanic or Mexican, as we call it up down there. I came to Waco and everybody kept saying, "You got an accent." No, I don't. Eagle Pass, everybody talks like that. Everybody here had an accent. I know for a while we were working on bikes, and Doyle Lance was from Clifton, and he said, "I'm going to teach you how to talk Bubba 101. And he showed me the words yonder. Anyway, Waco, the police department is very progressive compared to a lot of cities. We have changed a lot, and I really enjoy those days. If anybody has questions about PD, ask me. I'll give you an honest answer. Might not be the answer you want, but it'll be an honest.
Thank you.
My name is Jorge Sanchez. A lot of people, I got the same problem, so y'all can just call me George if you can't say Morgan. But I see Officer Mason at the gym every morning. We usually there about 5 in the morning. And I've always wanted to talk to him, and you know, it's just crazy how yesterday I went up to him, I introduced myself. You know, he reminded me about this event today. And honestly, man, I mean, you had me in tears. You know, I'm from this area, you know, Waco, South Waco. My mom and dad are immigrants, you know, so I feel you. You know, I know what you're talking about. I know what you mean. But anyway, I own the business, Brad's Air Conditioning. We're all trying to move forward. You know, we all want to do better. I got 3 boys, you know, a wife, so I'm still in South Waco. So, you know, we ain't back yet. For inviting me here, and we have been members here. We're making members at the Waco Chamber of Commerce. You know, just always working. We really don't ever have time to come to these events, but I'm glad I made it to this one. So thank you. You inspired me.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria Solano. Maria. Everybody calls me Maria. Anyway, but I represent Nurse Family Partnership here in Waco. I'm the new community health liaison, and born and raised in Waco as well, so it was inspiring to But it was wonderful to hear you. Thank you for everything that you do. We do love our community, and it is shocking to see how much it's changed, and I'm, on the little Nicholas Bridge for it. And we love our community, and we're here to serve. I'm here to serve you guys. If you need anything, let me know. Again, I'm great.
I'm Jason, I do accounting here at the chat.
Kim Buchanan with Reliant Energy.
Hi, my name is Jaja Chen, and my husband and I own Waco Shop, which is an organic bottled milk tea stand at the farmer's market. And we're going to be expanding into a mobile tea truck in the summer. And so we're going to have a joint Hispanic and African American chamber ribbon cutting at Hustle Waco for our tea truck and my solo private practice later in June. So it'll be June 27th, 5:30 to 7, come and go. And there will be free tea and free dumplings. So hope to see you guys.
Hi, my name is Melly Galan. I'm the lady organizer for the Waco Immigrants Alliance, and she'll tell you everything else.
I'm Hope, I'm I'm executive director. We work together every day. Melly is mostly raised here since she was real little. I'm a transplant from South Louisiana by way of Houston. I'm a social worker. Me and Jaja went to school together. I, for one, will attest to this man's faithfulness in my serving the community. I was a single mom. He talks about I was one of those that he just showed up at my house this Christmas with like 2 bags of toys and a gift. Like, he knew that it's rare that I get out. So he's like, here's some money, go to have dinner with one of your friends, because I know that you don't get to do that often. And so, yeah, it's real. You know, even us, those who are honestly fit the definition of the working poor, I appreciate everything that Stan does. And so for the Waco Immigrants Alliance, we have a fundraiser that's coming up July, no, it's actually this month on the 23rd at Classy Glass, calling it a drink for justice. And so we're doing that, and then we have a Families Belong Together rally that was postponed because of weather until June 15th. And so we do a lot of advocacy, a lot of case like individual work with families that are going through crisis due to the complexity of the immigration system. And so, yeah, we're here if you have any friends, family, clients, anyone who's just lost and confused because it's a very impossible system to navigate alone. Send them our way, and we'll be happy to help them find the resources that they need best.
Hi, I'm with Sam's Club. I'm membership coordinator there. I used to go out to businesses and set up membership drives for your employees. So if you ever have a time that you'd like to let me come out, I would love to do that. And also, right now we're on what we call a business focus. So if your business does not have a Sam's membership, I'd love to get you signed up today. And I've got a special offer that goes along with it that you won't get at the club. Thank you.
Would you like to do the raffle since you brought it?
Reliant.
Candy.
Hi everybody, I'm Gracie, I guess, with Waco Town Massage, so I'm located in Hewitt. I also write, and I just wanted to kind of put it out there because it went with kind of what we talked about today, but we are doing an event for CTAC. It's going over immigration and migration to Waco, so that'll be happening in October, so if you're interested, that's another great way to learn about your community.
I'm Lisa Fuentes. This is Jessie. I work with Focus Behavioral. We work with children and adults with autism, special needs, and mental health. I'm trying to figure out, one thing is, in terms of community, is we actually do first responders training. We know that like our first responders come into contact a lot with mental health people, and really, so we do a good training class. We actually do that for businesses too. And we also have, we work with adults that we try to get into like different job and occupational do the training. And so if there are any businesses out there that would be interested, we start off with kind of an internship volunteer program and make sure that our clients are a good fit for your company, and then we kind of just slowly move them into if you would ever want to hire them, but there's no obligation. So anyway, but yeah.
Two girls were lifesavers with our chamber banquet this year. I'm once again Linda Vaughn. I am the president of the Robinson Chamber of Commerce. And once again, we are grateful that you're here. Very inspiring. I'm asking you for let's see about this. So anyway, it's very inspiring to hear the way you have, and I'm sure there are other officers as well that have dedicated yourselves to our community. We have lots of things coming up. The best thing you can do is to like us on our Facebook page and get that in your feed so you know what's going on with us.
I'm Elise Jones. I'm a community organizer with Grassroots Community Development. So Grassroots builds homes and then has financial literacy and homebuyer education classes, and a housing counselor who works with families. And then we have community organizers who focus in North, South, and East Waco.
Melissa Jones. I'm with Richard Car Motors. Thank you also for everything you had to say. Thank you for having us here. I don't have anything inspiring to say, but we also are. What we have at the dealership is such a family organization, and it's so great to have the honor and the privilege to work with those folks. And we also do want to make a change, and we just want to happen to supply the cars to get us where we need to go and make that happen.
Very cool. Another team.
Yeah. My name is Cassandra. I don't know. I just told her, I said, hey, I want you to come with me today. Jackie, it was just a blessing for me, for her to come today, and I think everything happened for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. I want to thank you for inviting us. You and Yvonne, it's like every time I come, it's something that we need to hear. I know it's not just, it might not be for us, but it could be for someone we could help. And the speech you gave, I had to hold my head down a couple times because the tears won't come out. But I really enjoyed the speech here today, nothing but the truth, and you're a blessing for someone. You have been a long time, and you still got some more to go. You're a blessing for someone. But anyway, we're Medical MD, we're a medical dental office. We have 2 locations in Waco. We have one off of South Valley Mills and the other one on 1925 Park Lake Drive. I just love the community of Waco. I'm not from Waco. I live in Chilton, but you know, my mom always told me, hey, you got a job to do, and I believe everyone has a job to do. So I just ask God to bless me and strengthen me in whatever He wants me to do. So, but anyway, yeah, we're from Medical MD. If anyone y'all know need any type special people that can't help themselves, kids, parents. I had two patients come in yesterday with a problem. Guess what? They came in with a frown on their face and walked out with a smile. And one of my coworkers said, well, why? I said, hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Hey, I just want to be obedient. So, yeah. Yes. Thank you again.
Trouble.
I'm Regina Martinez, and this is Raven Hyder with Incommons Bank. I am the branch manager and loan officer, and Raven is the loan processor. And we had planned on coming here today because she's getting more involved with the Robinson Chamber, and thought it would be a good event to come to. But I was born and raised here, graduated from University High School in 1990. So those 90s that you're talking about, I do remember. So, talk to you later because I have someone that you might know that worked at the police department when you were there. He
advisor with Alpha Wealth Strategies in New York Live. Do a lot of insurance and investing. I love to help wherever I can with financial literacy. So if you ever need that, feel free to call me and I can help. We also do child IPs. We work with a lot of police departments. So if you ever need our service, please contact our to help wherever we can there as well. But Lonnie Jones, New York Live.
Hello there, I'm Lucy Witt with Deja Du Hair Salon, conveniently located on 3320 West Waco Drive. Fortunately, we just finally got out of the prom season, so I had to deal with that. But now we're moving into wedding season, so if you know of somebody getting married, or you're getting married yourself, get in where you fit in. And, okay, I got to run off or something. So, way to drive. Once again, Deja Du.
So I'm Kim Draper. I'm the hospital liaison for Senior Care Centers of Hewitt, and Caroline is actually our admissions director. And I'm newer. My two older sisters actually grew up in Waco, but I'm from Corsicana, so I still understand yonder. I know what all I speak that language. And we know there's a lot of complex issues surrounding elder care as well. So we're here to help. We do accept Medicaid pending patients. We work with a lot of organizations as well. And then I visit, patients in the hospital. I can sit and speak with their families and talk about what some of their options are. So definitely keep us in mind.
Also, we have a private dining room and we have a diner. We have places you can utilize to have meetings at or anything if anyone's in need of putting together. I New York Live, some of your people is reaching out. They're coming to do stuff. So our building is open. We want to be involved in the community, and I do appreciate all these stuff. Absolutely.
Where's your building?
8836 Mars Drive in Hewitt, Texas. We're right off of Hewitt Drive, right there where Freddy's, Whataburger, all it is. We're up behind Freddy's. Dead ends right to our building.
Oh, great.
So we'll be glad to have you. You can come for a tour. Someone needs us.
Thank you.
Actually, I work with the Robinson Chamber. I'm their membership, marketing. I do whatever, everything. So.
I'm Mary Webb Marks with the Salvation Army, and I wish everybody in town could hear what you said. Yes.
Stand next to this tall guy here. Yeah. My name is Rich Richardson. I'm General Manager at 94.5 The Beat. Officer Mason's been a part of things that we do at the station, not only with our community fairs program, but also our evening show from 6 to 10. We've got a big event coming up this weekend with Mother Nature. Please. A huge car show. Many of you are familiar with the Walgreens drive with the red nose to help end poverty. Well, there's a big car show that will be taking place on the border, right at the corner, Waco Drive and New Road. Busiest intersection in town. And if the weather holds up, it's going to be Saturday from 12 to 5. We'll be broadcasting live out there. If not, we'll move to Sunday. So be listening. I'll also put on our Facebook page at SendTextBeat. If the weather gets a little crazy, we're going to find out tomorrow whether we're changing or not. But it's a big drive to help end poverty. Waco got souls on the border. A ton of different parts of the civic community organizations are a part of this deal. And of course, Walgreens with their nationwide drive. So if you have any other information or questions you want, hit us up at SendTextBeat on Facebook. We'd be more than happy to answer for you. Thanks.
All right, Richard Nels with Extraco Banks. My primary responsibility is as the Retail Business Development Officer for McLean County, so I'm invested in bringing in customers, whether they be consumer or small business, into Extraco. So I would love to be able to help you in any way that I can. And of course, just so you know, the banks work together, and we work together pretty closely, and so it's really wonderful to know that we have the freedom as bankers to be able to get you to the people that can help you regardless of what one bank might be able to offer versus another. We can get you the right folks, and that's super important. And I also like to say, that code that you talk about, for years, my wife and my children and I had the privilege of delivering Meals on Wheels on 6th Street in Colcourt, and then over on Spring Street on the other side of the river. And I can't tell you how many times I would walk up and I figured it out. Oh, that's a drug lookout guy, right? And every time I would walk up, I never had any fear about that. And the lookout guy would be like, you know, and I had my little Meals on Wheels bag, and I'd go deliver my Meals on Wheels and bye. And, you know, there's a code. I never once felt nervous or scared. They knew what I was there for, and so if you're hesitant about volunteering, just understand it will feed you. So.
We have an event, well, the community has an event out here Sunday, 1 to 5, calling it the Floating Mercado. And it's not floating, it's not on water. Hopefully it won't be on water. But different vendors will be inside selling some merchandise, as well as we'll have some food trucks. Waco Chop will be there. Children time, somebody pronounce that for me. Pistala? Yes, so, again, 1 to 5, and thank you again for being here. Hope to see you soon.